Okay, it's motor time. So if you've been watching along, we've pulled out the old motor, tore it down, broken crank, cleaned up the frame, removed the whole cooling system, and we're repowering this with a Briggs Vanguard engine. Did a compression test on this, and it was like 150 psi in each cylinder. I saw this run, it's got about 1,200 hours on it. It's only 16 horse, so I'm losing some horsepower, but that's okay. I think in this, with low gear, it's going to be fine. Plus, we got weight reduction from all the cooling stuff that came off. This video is really going to be installing the motor and getting this thing running. That's kind of the fun part. So I've already installed the adapter plate. This plate here, plus there's 3 spacers that are over here. Those 4 pieces, I guess, will offset the motor correctly so that the air-cooled clutch can go on, and we'll have it in line with the clutch that is on this guy, the driven gear. So yeah, I'm going to get set up. We're probably going to have to use the crane to drop the motor in because I just feel like it's going to be easier to control it. It's out already, so there's really no reason not to. So let me get that all set up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the engine on the hoist. Obviously no fun there, not really worth filming the whole thing. What I did want to show you guys though, let me take this off the stand. So this kit consists of a couple of important pieces, and it's just laser cut steel, and I think I've said in another video, if you've watched it, like this is a really expensive conversion kit for this mule. With the correct spline shaft, which is somewhere around here that goes on the motor, it's like $1,000. To put a Vanguard in, and you can put a Vanguard 16 to 23 horsepower, it doesn't care, but that's pretty pricey. Oh, here's the shaft. Oh, it's on there already. See, mine has a spline shaft here as opposed to a tapered fit. The tapered fit one I think is an $800 and some odd kit. You want that adapter, it's an extra 150. All in, it's pretty expensive. I was able to find this kit used on eBay. Somebody had taken one of these apart, so I got it for 300 bucks, which I snapped up immediately. But it consists of the plate that I showed you guys in here, which just eliminates the flywheel that used to be there from the diesel engine. This mount down here that I've bolted on, which is literally just an adapter for the Mule engine cradle. And then there's these 3 plates that are spacers that we have to put on. And the idea here is that you're just setting the spacing between where that adapter lands on this crank and where the clutch is going to go because it's belt driven. So I talked about this in other videos. I put this whole contraption over my scissor lift thinking I was going to be able to use it. I can't use it. It doesn't fit because the wheels are too close. Long story short, it makes it very difficult to get this engine crane under it. So I'm going to pause the video, take that tire off, swing the engine crane sort of under it, and then I'll be back. Alrighty. So it was a bit of a contraption, as I figured, trying to get these under here, not hit the jack. And it's still not 100% there, but kind of want to see how it goes in with you guys. Just so if you're doing this, you know kind of the pitfalls. Looking already, so this is an oil drain for it. This is not going to work where this is, I don't think. Well, maybe it will. Yeah, actually, it might come out down the bottom of the bell housing. You know, it's stuff like this. Like, this was on the Cub Cadet that this came out of. And I want to keep it. I mean, obviously, it's easier to drain the oil than trying to get in here. But I'm going to have to be really careful when this goes in about where this line lands. Because, obviously, if it goes in the wrong spot, it's going to be a problem. So let's just tuck it in out of the way here for now. And then I think I'm going to put these plates on. What I told you guys about, like these plates here. I'm going to try to slide these over the, actually, you know what, rather than banging them on the input shaft, I'm just going to shove a screwdriver in to hold them. I think the instructions actually say to do that at some point as well. But it's a stack of 3. That's what sets the spacing for it correctly. So we're just going to go and put these here and then just try to get a screwdriver on them. I'm going to need another screwdriver because one ain't going to do it. They're going to slide right off. Another second screwdriver. Of course they will. Let's see here. Don't want too long a one or it'll be protruding too much. I will do every on the solid of editing out my tool fetching. Let's see, put this in here, and then we'll put one down the bottom, I guess. Alright, well, it talks a good game about how this would work, but they want to slide right off the screwdrivers. So, does my original plan work of just tucking them on this? Yeah, I think it does. Alright, so if you're doing this yourselves, you know, your mileage may vary. There are instructions on the internet from the company that makes this kit. I will say they're pretty awful. They just don't really have a lot of detail, and this is a detailed job, at least to me. But the goal now is going to be to sink it down into its cradle and then try to get the bolts through the plate into the motor housing here, and then I have to get the engine bolts from underneath, have to line up with the holes in the cradle. So it's going to be a bit of finagling. I also am fighting with a lift that's not quite in the right position and probably can't get there because of the jacks. So we're going to be battling a little bit here. The other thing that may be an issue is the drive shaft. We'll have to see. Actually, looking at it, I think I'm going to have to pull the drive shaft out because I won't be able to slide it in. So just so you guys see what I'm talking about. The back of this motor here, you can't use a pull start Vanguard, and this is why. It has a PTO cover, because there was a PTO coming off of this too in the Cub Cadet, but there's a drive shaft right there that runs the front wheels. I don't think I'm going to be able to have the motor slide back enough to get down to slide in over that hole there. I mean, we're going to give it a shot. We'll see, but we may be jacking the whole thing all the way back up again. See if I can give you guys a bird's eye view of it as it goes down to see what it does. Like I said, expectations are kind of low here that this is going to be effective, but I think if I hold this over, we can at least start to set it down and see what we're going to get. I mean, obviously it's going to be banging into stuff, and it's not going to be ideal, especially where I have to stand to do this is not ideal to guide it, but I'll move you guys over here. I think you'll still be able to see all the things you want to see. Don't want to crash that oil filter too hard. All right, we're going to set it there for a minute. Got some wires in the way. Starter wire, to be exact. Don't need him there. And these wires here are for interior electronics and starter. All right. Are we coming down? Yeah, see, so right now, it's going to have to be back about there. Does it clear the drive shaft? Oh, it might. It might. Let's drop it down a little bit and see if we can make the magic here. Oh, hung up on that. Oh, there it goes. All right, I'm clearing the drive shaft. And yeah, the stump is in. It is going in here. So we were going to try to continue to sink this thing home. We are not going to drop it in the cradle bolts or anything yet. I want to get that front plate lined up. Ooh, as a first thing to do. Definitely, oil filter is in the way. I wonder how you change that once this is all together. Guess we'll find out together. So she's in-ish. Oh, you know what I'm noticing though? Yeah, there is a boss. Man, that's just going to keep falling, I guess. There's a boss on the case that I think we're going to need to shear off for the spark plug. I think the instructions said something about that. But otherwise, I mean, it's kind of lining up. I think I'm going to pull it back up and out, try to get that boss ground off. I'll pause it. I'm going to pull it up and out, and then I'll bring you guys back. There, I got it up. So you can see it now. Let me find the light. I mean, maybe I won't have to, but I think this guy right here, the instructions sort of referenced pulling that. They said it was a bolt hole. There's no bolt hole in that, so maybe it's drilled out in later editions of this thing, but I'm going to pull that off. I'm just going to get the grinding wheel out, take that thing off so that I can get to the spark plug, because if you can't change the spark plug, it's not going to be a great time. So I will be back in a moment. All right, mission accomplished. just took it off back down to level with the rest of it here. Nothing tricky. So let's get the motor back down inside, and we will see what there is to see as far as fitment goes now. I probably could have, I don't know, maybe I could have gotten away with not doing that, but that's one of those things you don't want to find out the hard way after you've already got the whole thing installed. I think my flashlight's going to be in the way. All right, take two. Oh, too much. Why did that come all the way down like that? There we go. Okay, let's make sure the plates are still on. All three plates are still there. Okay. So now he's got to go down low enough to clear into that bell housing. We clear the drive shaft, okay. Next up is getting in to there. Let's see, can I get you guys zoomed in? Yeah, we're going to try to close that gap off. So let's see, hopefully this time we don't let this thing go taking a tumble. Oh, caught on something, I don't know what. Can't see anything down there that we would be caught on. Can't see anything there. I wonder if we are just simply rotated. Yep. We were not rotated good. Alright, let's drop her down a little further, and alright, I think we are now sitting on the cradle mounts. So, if that's the truth, let's pull this off of here and unzoom it. Alright, so we're more or less down in it. You know, I got to fix these plates because they're obviously not in the right orientation, spacing-wise and stuff. Looking down here, I don't know. Yeah, I think that is sitting in the, more or less the center of the hole. Let me get those plates lined up and on, and I'll bring you guys back, and we'll see what the next step is. I don't think you're going to want to watch me struggle to put those bolts through there. So I'm going to pause it and be back. All right. Actually, you know what? I think my son is moving. Oh, he's cutting grass. Okay, so you might hear the lawnmower a bit. Sorry about that. Something else that he just said that I'll ask you guys. Maybe drop a comment depending on how you feel about this. I've been pausing this video to do uncomfortably annoying stuff like line these bolts up and get all the stuff in there. He was like, you should time lapse it and put music over it. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of views on any of my videos yet. I don't get a lot of feedback or comments, so I don't really know what people like. Should I do the fast forward and then just put music over it so you can see like the fast forward progress? Or do you want to just pop in for like a 15-minute video and be able to see the whole thing and get that sense of completion? I don't know. I find when I watch YouTube, sometimes I do one, sometimes I do the other. And as everyone who's watched this before knows, I'm new to this and don't know what I'm doing. So I would love the feedback if you have any ideas. So instructions say to red Loctite this. I would red Loctite these bolts even if the instructions didn't say it, just because of what this is doing. This is essentially holding the engine into the front plate here. Definitely want to make sure those are as tight and locked in as can be, you know, for obvious reasons. So I'm just using red Loctite. It's going to stink if I have to take these back off, but the truth is, this is a pretty fixed position. Like, I have to make this work, like the engine bolts at the bottom and stuff like that in the cradle. Like, even if this isn't exactly in the right spot down there, which I hope it is, but even if it wasn't, I kind of don't have a choice. Like, I have to do this because these cannot move. So this is going to have to be the correct position because of the way that all the stuff works with the adapters. So I'm going to just run these in with their Loctite on them. And this one I was using as a holder, so I need to Loctite it. And the threads look good. They don't look all boogered up. I always get nervous doing stuff that I'm going to end up pulling something one of these out and it's going to be all rolled threads. But also, this motor didn't use these mounting bosses on the Vanguard when the Cub Cadet that it was in. All right, tight. They don't give you a torque spec for this. The only torque spec you get for this project is the big nut on these guys, which also take red Loctite, by the way. So yeah, at that point, I should be able to at least fit this adapter on. And then the clutch assemblage would essentially go on next. These wires and stuff are here. And I'm only doing this real quick just to check my spacing. And let me go get the other one, because if this isn't correct, I want to know now that I have to do something different, you know? Come here. Maybe we still have a lot of stuff to put on as far as covers and things go. But wow. Okay, so it actually looks pretty good, guys. I mean, so the belt is obviously going to ride in here and go to this. This is the driven gear. And if I look at the alignment between these two, it's almost exact. I mean, maybe this engine could come forward, I don't know, a couple of millimeters, but I don't think that's going to be enough to impact it because of the way the belt drive works. I mean, this is going to come down and crunch the belt. If it's just a hair off, it's probably fine. So we're going to run with that. I also don't have any provisions or options. You know, like, I don't have any choice. This has to work, because it's not like I can just, oh, I'm going to change my mind and do something different, or I'll use a different adapter or whatever. So the next thing up is going to be, I got to pull these back off. I got to put the intermediate plastic cover on here. And then I got to get the engine cradle bolts in. But I think I'm going to do engine cradle bolts first, because I think that's going to be a lousy job. And again, I'm going to pause it because I don't think you guys want to watch me putting bolts into the bottom of this thing. I mean, you guys tell me, hey, I'd watch way more of your videos if you did all the things and didn't just fast forward stuff. So let me know. Drop it down in the comments. I'll be right back when I get the engine cradle bolts in. All right, that was quite a party. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. I guess the tips that I would give for someone doing this are to leave the front bolts a little bit loose. These 4 that I originally had tightened up, you guys saw, they needed to be a little bit loose. And then there's a prying point right in here that you can use to shift it. In my case, the engine was about 1/4 of an inch too far forward and about 1/4 of an inch too far back. Not a lot of room to pry, and this is all like magnesium, so you really want to be careful. But I got all 4 bolts in the bottom. I got those 4 bolts on there. I think the next thing I'm going to do is get this on, which is going to require me to probably loosely install the intermediate cover. But before I do that, something that I don't know, it's what I'm going to do, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. But that flange, basically, this is the thing that, you know, goes on there. It's keyed, you know, it's got a big key for it, so it's not going to turn, but it also has these 2 locking bolts. Now, I could just run those locking bolts in and say it's good, but I think I'm going to take these bolts out. I'm going to throw a marker in there and mark a spot, and I'm going to grind a flat onto the crank. That way they're in something that is going to not allow rotation, just to make me feel better. I mean, it's the only thing stopping it from pulling back off this way are those. So I want to make sure that they're on there. So I am going to pull these out, make those marks, and then I will bring you guys back. Okay, so we got everything lined up. Kind of started test fitting things a little bit. This is the intermediate cover. This has to be on here before you can really get these guys on. I have to get the belt back on, and quite frankly, I'm not exactly sure the right way to do that. This was a part when I got it. I think it's going to be easier to pull this one off than it is to pull the other one off, just because this one kind of interferes when the large part comes out, whereas this guy here is really just some, it's just like some stupid things that get in the way. Like this giant cable, for example, that we don't need because it's just the battery cable. So let's see if we can get this one back off, and then we can loop the belt around the larger pulley. I tell you, I didn't even consider it till now, but it would stink if there was something wrong with one of these pulleys or something. Like, this is a lot of complex engineering, I feel like, in here. Oh, there we go. That's just going to come right off, which is probably better. All right, so That's the driven pulley. How far in do you think that goes, folks? What I'm wrestling with here. I mean, that's on, but I don't have a whole lot of room over there. Put the other one on. As you can see, it is pretty tight in here. So I guess we're just gonna have to figure this out together. Because I really don't know. Like I've said a few hundred times on this video, like I've never had one of these before, and I didn't take this guy apart. And that kind of makes it even more complicated when you don't disassemble something. I'm just trying to slide this behind it. Oh, kind of went on. This stupid cover makes it extra fun, I'll tell you that. Okay, I think that's it. That wasn't as bad as I was whining about, because I was doing some whining there. Let's see. Let me just get this cover to go back on. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say that this will slip, because it should when it's not like tightened up and engaged. So I think up next is probably going to be these bolts. We have this big one here that goes in there. And then we have a real long special bolt that comes with this kit. I'm going to assume it's all good, and that this is all the way this is supposed to be. Like, I'm sure this spacer here goes in first, because that probably engages right in here. But this goes all the way back to that other shaft that we installed, and it should thread all the way in. So what I'm going to do is Loctite these and get the wrench, and I'll be right back. Alrighty. Loctite. Bolt. Pretty sure there's going to be a little bit of trickery in here to get this to grab right, because there is that washer that I do feel like probably has a spacer type of gap arrangement there. Like, I think it goes in, and then that spacer that's there actually will line up and grab that. I think. I don't know. I do not know. We will get this in a little bit further. Yeah, I think that actually engaged. If you guys can't see it, but there's like that little plate that's in here that actually tucks in to the this thing. Kind of creates almost like a bearing surface on the outside to carry this giant bolt. Going finger tight until I'm sure we are in the zone here, guys. And I am going to have to go look up the torque spec because I don't know it. I'm going to Loctite a bolt into a previously Loctited hole. This was pretty tight, if memory serves. I'm going to have to get the torque wrench out anyway. I just kind of want to get these guys on here and started. So now I'll get the torque wrench. Oh yeah, now that that's on there, we got slippage. That's what we like. Okay, I'm going to go grab the torque wrench and look up the torque spec, and I'll be right back. So we are getting close. The engine is in. Looks like it fits good. I can definitely get to that spark plug. It looks like that fit nice. May have to cook off this boss here too, just because I don't know how that'll go, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We got the one underneath it. Nice, a lot of clearance. The reason I'm holding this is there is no exhaust for this that works. You kind of have to make one. The old exhaust system is this big giant can back here and that very long pipe, which is somewhere around here. Basically, the pipe would start at the head, had a single output, and ran along here, and then the muffler mounts back there. Vanguard's different, 2 outlets. So I bought this. This is a manifold for a vertical motor. So what I'm going to hope I can do is adapt it by cutting it up, and I'm hoping it'll go on sort of like something like this, where I can get this in here, get that one in there. Come on. It's just right here that's holding me up. There, something like that. And then I'm going to have this, and what I'm going to do is I will figure out how to cut this, probably reuse this bend, bring it down, rotate it so that it shoots out this way, and then try to adapt that to the factory exhaust that'll sit back here. Some other things I have to do still, I have to mount this back in, and to clear this can't sit all the way forward anymore like it used to. I have to raise it up with some spacers to get it up away. So I have to do that. I have to obviously figure out the wiring. It should be fairly straightforward, I think. But yeah, we should be able to get all this normal stuff that's in here working as far as starting it up and everything. And I have to make a choke. Right now, you know, the choke linkage is here. The choke works, but I'm going to have to make a choke linkage for it. You know, all relatively easy stuff. I mean, I feel like the hard part was getting it in, and getting everything lined up. Everything seems to be good down here with the CVT thing. So we'll see how that launches out when we can get it fired up. For now, I think the next step is going to be this exhaust. So this video is getting a little long. I think I'm going to stop this one. I'll release the next one. The next video will be cutting up and making the exhaust, doing the wiring, getting that spaced off, and then maybe like a first run. We'll see how much we get done. But yeah, so for now, thanks for watching. As always, like and subscribe. Trying to grow the channel, and subscriptions is how that happens. I asked earlier in the video if you guys have comments. I know everybody usually clicks off the videos before the speeches start, but if you have comments on how I'm doing these, should I shorten them up by pausing and then coming back after I do something tedious, or should I time lapse it? Give me your comments down below. And as always, I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.